Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you back to my second edition of Riddle Me Din Din. And I know that may not be the best name in the world, but I think I'm going to keep it for now. So here we are. We're in a new environment today. We're indoors today. You know, it's been really cold out there. Winter's been kicking back and wants to leave more like a lion. So I'm inside what looks like a bit of a military mobile kitchen area. You can see from behind me there what's involved. And to nod to all my friends and subscribers and guildies out there who have actually been to war. And I'm thankful are all back and well and happy and living their lives. So today for Riddle Me Din Din, M-Souls, welcome back to our second edition. I have put together 3-part yummy dinner menu, but you have to play my games to earn the information for our materials list. So get your recording devices ready. Each answer is another item for this ingredient list. And ready for round 1? I'll tell you what it is after we do it, but you will actually need this first part for the other 2 pieces. So this is going to be something fresh. It is green. It is not minty or sweet. And that's all you get. This next riddle, smelly or stinky, sounds very foreign, comes from a place in the shape of a boot. What is it? This third thing is something extra, something extra that I am not, and it's something derived from the fruit of a tree also found in a place shaped like a boot. Item number 4. This is a word that comes in front of saw or tree. And it might be something you'd think grows in a forest. What is it? The next item, item number 5. If I make a string of this and wear it around my neck, it should prevent me from getting any bites from vampires. What is it? Item number 6. This is a small grain, not sweet at all, used to cure meats, used to cure cod. What is it? Finally, our last item. It could be fresh. It could be ground. It is also a flecky grain, and it can make you sneeze. What is it? Okay. Item number 1, I'm being a little bit coy today, but I'm trying to do some original riddles of my own. I'm so sorry. It is fresh basil. Now, remember that anything that I choose, we can go into our cupboards and our spice racks and pull out the equivalent from our old spice racks and use up the things that are already in your house. So we need 2 cups of fresh basil leaves, but instead you can substitute half of the basil with spinach leaves if you've got spinach in the house. And you can also use the basil that comes from your spice rack jar, but you'll need much less of it. And we can talk about proportions in just a moment. The second item is something smelly, comes from a place looks like a boot, Parmesan cheese, and you just need a half a cup. Again, you could use Romano. You don't need as much Romano, mozzarella, whatever cheese you've got, but preferably Parmesan. This next thing that's a little extra comes from the fruit of a tree, also from the place shaped like a boot. Of course, that's Italy. And I'm talking about extra virgin olive oil. You're going to need a half cup. The next thing could be from a forest, comes in front of Saul is pine nuts, or you can substitute that with chopped walnuts, or again, any nut you've got. Except the guy beside you on the couch there. No, I'm just joking. You'll need about a 1/3 cup of the pine nuts or its substitute. The next thing on our items list, the thing that you can put around your neck to prevent vampire bites. Well, that's if you don't want a vampire bite, I don't know. 3 garlic cloves. You can mince them, so you need about 3 teaspoons. Some people keep minced paste or a jar of the minced cloves, and whichever one you have. Enjoy. And the next thing we were talking about, the grain that's used to cure meats and even cures cod, it's salt, and you'll need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Finally, the other flaky grain that can make you sneeze, that's the black pepper, freshly ground. Just use whatever to taste, a pinch as you like. So, if you were to say, Venus, what does this all make? It is a fresh basil pesto. And pesto can be used for all sorts of things, so that's why I wanted to start with this, because anything else you choose to substitute today, it's really nice. And at the very least, if you don't have anything else to put it on, then you can put it on toast. But if you really don't have any basil at all at home and there's none left in your spice rack, I've also tried it with parsley, and it's a different flavor, but also good and green. So try it as you like. What I can tell you about making basil pesto is that it does darken when it's exposed to the air. So as soon as you make it, cover it up with something and store it with a tight lid or plastic wrap, and make sure that the plastic is touching the top of the pesto and not allowing the pesto to come in contact with the air. The pesto sauce will stay greener and it will keep longer that way. Method. So here's what we do. We're going to pulse the basil and the pine nuts. So you place the leaves or the herbs from the spice rack and the nuts into a bowl of a food processor and pulse it several times. Sometimes I think you can use the California blender. Some blenders have this as well. Or, you know what, break out that mortar and pestle and crush it up. Then you add the garlic and the cheese. By adding the garlic and the Parmesan and or a bit of Romano, pulse several times more and keep scraping down the sides of your bowl or your blender cup so that everything gets into the food processor. Use a rubber spatula for that. And then slowly pour in the olive oil. And while the food processor is running, slowly add the olive oil in a steady small stream and add it slowly. So while the processor is running, it will help to emulsify and keep the olive oil from separating while it's meeting the other ingredients. Occasionally stop to keep scraping down the sides of the food processor and make sure that everything gets blended in together. And then you season this pesto sauce with the salt and the ground black pepper as you like, or omit it if you don't like it. Anyone that might have, for example, low thyroid might be sensitive to salt, and some people just don't like things to be too salty, and some people might have high blood pressure, so you'll want to limit the amount of salt. I tend not to add salt at all, but sometimes I'll just put just a pinch. Okay, that's part one that we need for tonight's dinner. Here's part two. So, item number one, this is that animal that we always talk about crossing the street for whatever reason. What is it? Riddle number two, well, it's the thing we just talked about and we just made a few minutes ago. Riddle number three, this is a rap duo, two ladies, and the name of their group is what we're going to need to season this whole thing. I think you know what it is. And finally, something that sounds like comes from a tree with a stone heart, but really, it used to be considered the apple of the earth, or a poisonous heart on a vine. Depending on what you've heard about this lovely vegetable, fruit, vegetable. They say it's really a fruit, but I grew up with it as a vegetable. Can you tell what it is? All right. The riddles are really rough today, but we're getting very fast on to round two. The thing that crosses the street is a chicken. And depending on if you've got chicken breasts or chicken thighs or chicken legs, the preferred would be 4 skinless, boneless chicken breast fillets. Making about 1 kilogram or 2 pounds. But you know what? Whatever chicken you've got. And if you don't have chicken, try pork. I know it's cheaper out there right now, but chicken would be preferable. And you can debone it yourself if you want. And you're going to need that basil pesto that you just made, but we won't use all of it up on this. We'll use some of it, but not all. Once again, that rapper duo, the lady duo, salt and pepper, and again using it just to adjust this to your taste. Finally, the thing that sounds like it comes from a tree with a stone heart, well, that's a cherry, but it coming from the earth and used to be considered potentially, back in Columbus's day, poisonous, like an apple, poison apple. It was a tomato, and so we're looking for a box of little cherry tomatoes or any kind of tomato you've got in your fridge. We're going to use up whatever you've got. Now, some people keep sun-dried tomatoes in the house in jars, but fresh would be better if possible. So what do we do with this? Well, what this is going to make for us is a pesto chicken, which you can grill or oven bake as you like. And here's how we put it together. Place your oven rack to the center position, and you can preheat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Drizzle both sides of your chicken breasts or alternative meat with olive oil, and season both sides of the chicken with the salt and pepper to taste. Place the chicken in an oven-proof baking dish or skillet. Bake in the preheated oven until the internal temperature of the chicken is no longer pink and it reaches about 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's cooking for about 15 to 18 minutes. Your pesto's already made, so just brush it on each side of the cooked chicken breast, and then transfer to a serving platter. You You can then top the chicken with the chopped nuts that you've got, the tomatoes, and the cheese. Make sure that you save some of this pesto sauce on the side because it can also be used as a topping for the third part of today's dinner. So here we go with round 3. It's actually going to be quick and easy to put together. I know it takes more time to play the riddles with me than it actually is to prepare these meals, so that's the really good news. All right. So all in all, when we get stage 3 done, we're going to have a nice healthy meal to serve your family. This one is quick and easy to do. It does require having an instant pot. Now, I understand that this is not exactly the same as a crock pot, but we'll do our best here. And if you don't have an instant pot, there are other things out there that do the same job. A crock pot express crock, a Presto kitchen kettle, Vita Clay Smart Organic multi-cooker, or the KitchenAid multi-cooker, or you can even use something called a Cuisinart. I got my Cuisinart by trading my Aeroplan points, so I basically got it for free. So all of these do the same type of job. And so here we go. So round 3, riddle me this. I'm the color of a coward and I can make you cry. What am I? I'm the thing that protects you from vampires in the night. What am I? Number 3. Ideally on a cold rainy day is the best time to churn me up. What am I? Number 4. I'm a thing they only used to feed to horses until there was a famine. What am I? Next item, number 5. I'm the word that comes in front of market and pile. What am I? Item number 6. I'm really curly. Most people discard me, but I'm actually really good for your breath. Too small to be considered broccoli. What am I? Number 7. We're the duo that many people collect containers for, in all shapes and sizes, and we spice things up. What are we? Number 8. Well, the cranky cow was banned from the party. Why? All right, are you ready to review? That thing colored like a coward would be yellow, and it makes you cry. That's an onion. So we're going to need a half of a yellow onion diced. Item number 2, that thing that keeps vampires away at night, it's garlic, and we want to mince about 2 tablespoons of garlic. Number 3, the thing that is best churned on a cool and rainy day would be butter, and we need 2 tablespoons of butter. Item number 4, we grow it in the ground. It was always fed to horses, and it took a lot to convince the kings and queens of the UK that it's okay to serve it to people during a famine. They're potatoes. We'll need about 8 medium-sized potatoes, chopped and peeled if you like. Some people keep the peels. It's up to you. The next item is a word that comes in front of market or pile. It's stock, but we mean like vegetable stock or chicken stock, depending on which meat you're cooking with. If you cook with chicken, it would be ideal to have chicken stock, but if you had pork, for example, you can go with the veggie stock so that there's no clashing in the flavors, and you'll need about 1 quart of it. Next, that curly thing that's often discarded, too small to look like a broccoli, that's parsley, and we'll need 2 tablespoons of it. You can use the dried stuff as well from your spice rack. This next dynamic duo, you've heard about them before, and people collect lots of different crazy containers for them of all shapes and sizes. That's your salt and pepper again. And you need about a teaspoon of the salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of the pepper, or adjust to your taste. It's up to you. Finally, the cranky cow, not allowed into the party because no one wanted to deal with any sour cream. You're going to need about a 1/2 cup of sour cream. If you don't have sour cream in the house but you've got plain Greek yogurt, that would do just as well. All right. So, what does this make, V? Well, what this makes is a really beautiful potato soup, and it really brings the whole meal together in a very healthy way. So the instructions for this soup are: you turn on your Instant Pot or the equivalent at your house to saute. And when it's hot, saute the onions in butter until they're golden brown. Once the onions are golden brown, then you can add in the garlic and stir it around and turn the IP off. Next, you're going to add the potatoes and the remaining ingredients. So since potatoes are a thick thing that take a lot of time to cook, especially if you're using something that's not the Instant Pot, you're going to want to cut smaller pieces. Try to keep them as evenly thick as possible throughout your cuts, and that will help it all cook together at the same amount of time. And then put in all the rest of your ingredients. Cover the pot with the lid and close the vent. Push on manual and set it for 7 minutes. This is an under 10-minute soup, and you've already got the chicken cooking in the oven. So when the pot beeps, quickly release the pressure. Stir the potatoes around roughly to mash them up, and then stir in your pesto sauce, and you can serve. Now, if you're feeling like it's a bit lumpy and you can't put the elbow grease in, your back's not feeling up to it, you can always put this in a blender to blend it through, and to make sure that it's even more smooth and silky. And then before you serve it, you can add on a dollop of that sour cream or the pesto sauce on top if you don't have the sour cream, or your Greek yogurt. And then, don't forget that parsley. Put a little sprig on top of that. And whatever cheese you used for your chicken, you can also add it again in here. And you've got yourself your 3-part meal. So, what if we run down? Yeah. So now, remember, when I'm picking these mini meals, I am trying to think about what we may already have in our fridges at home or our cupboards at home. So if you don't have all of the ingredients for part 3, try a simple baked potato. Top it with the pesto sauce if you don't want to do the traditional sour cream and bacon bits and chives. This pesto sauce will work very well with the potato. And something as simple as crispy toast topped with the pesto is still a great side to go with the pesto chicken. Now, if you look around online, there are so many wines that are recommended for pairing with pesto dishes. And however, for my part, I'm not encouraging the drinking so much as a tall glass of ice water, because I know for me that's the best thing that I can do. And flavoring it, you can actually put basil leaf inside. I mean, we're cooking with it, and basil actually works with strawberries, or a slice of cucumber and the basil to complement the main dish. And if we can't make it exactly, make it simple. A glass of water never hurts. And I'm very hopeful you have enough of the needed ingredients to whip together this really tasty dinner trio. And I want to thank you for being here and playing along with me. I hope you have fun with the riddles and also really enjoy the randomness of the surprise meal I pick out for you. I'm really trying to these meals out at home as well. So part of what kept me a little bit today is I was making this meal. I've got the chicken in front of me now. I gorged on it before I came online to tell you that it is really yummy and it smells really good as well. And I'm really feeling full, and I haven't even gotten through all of it yet. This is enough to feed at least 4 people, if not 6 people. I've definitely got some leftovers here for myself for tomorrow. And so I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. And perhaps, especially if you're making substitutions, you can share your results with us so that we can improve our recipes. Let us know in the comments below how it's worked out. Bon appetit, my wonderful mortal souls. I really have got a few excellent mini menus lined up and better riddles for next week. I'll admit I worked a little harder on those ones to try to make sure that when we are dealing with the same ingredients, I can give you different riddles about them so that it's not so easy to guess all the time. But thanks for playing along with me. Thank you for your patience. I hope that this is an enticing meal for you. I'm really so full that I could probably hibernate right now. So I'll catch you next time. If you're still with me right now, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you out there. If you have any favorite dish that you'd like me to share in one of my riddles, my riddle game nights, please let me know and I'll work it into the menu. Take care and have a wonderful evening. Bon appetit.